Hi everyone, welcome back to Miller Music Studios. I'm Diane Miller, your piano teacher, and we're going through our long, long ago Suzuki song. This is lesson number 80, and we're going to work on the rhythm of our left hand. Okay, let's take a look at it together. So I cut out all of the bass clef, bass staff notes, and look at how they all have a beam. My goodness, it's like a little army of beamed notes, right? So until you get here, right at the end, we have one quarter note and a quarter rest. Now let's talk about a note with a beam on it. It's the same as a note that's blackened in. It has a stem and a flag. Do you know what kind of note that is? That's an eighth note. Do you know how many beats an eighth note gets? A half of a beat. So watch this. If a half of a beat is joined up with another half of a beat, that would be like if I had a half of a pencil and I joined it up with another half of a pencil, I'd have what? A whole pencil. One pencil, right? Did you get that? Half plus half equals the whole pencil. So if you take a half of a beat plus a half of a beat, you're going to get an entire beat, one beat. Like I would have one pencil if I had two halves of it. So that gets one beat. That's a quarter note. These are two eighth notes. Now think of it like this also. If you have a note that has a foot and it has a leg, it's a walking note that gets one beat. So if I were walking, I'd be like this: quarter, 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 quarter. Each step was one beat. It's a walking note. Now, what happens when you take the foot and the leg and you give it a wing? Well, if it can fly too, that one is a faster note, right? So in real life, we call this a flag. So if you have a foot with a leg and the little flag on it, that one is a faster note. So that's a running note, like this: one and two and one and two and, as opposed to one, two, one, two. Let's run one and two and. They're faster notes. So if this one is running, look at this: foot, leg, wing. Going in a wing now. And if you have this one, foot, leg, wing. So they're running. This one could say, listen, I'm going to put my wing on your shoulder. And this guy says, all right, I'm going to put my wing on your shoulder. So instead of their little wings, now we have one beam. So these are the same as these. Here's two eighth notes that equal one quarter note. And here's two eighth notes that equal one quarter note. It's the same thing. So these two have the beam attached to them. Now there's two more. And since there's four beats in the measure, we can make it really neat on the page by joining all four of these eighth notes in one beam and all four of these eighth notes in another beam. They're all eighth notes. So we count them as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's all the way through. So here's what I'd like for you to do. I would like for you to clap and say 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I'll show you what I mean. So you're going to clap 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then you're going to do that again in the next measure. I'll count with you too, okay? I'm going to play the piano, and I need you to say it nice and loud so I can hear you. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and until the very last measure, and I'll give you a heads up when we're coming there. And there we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3, 4, because 3 is the quarter note and 4 is the quarter rest. So again, the last measure is going to go 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, are you ready? This is like a game. Okay, now I'm going to keep the phone pointed at the notes at the top. Whatever you see at the top of this screen is what you're going to be looking at, and I'm going to be playing. Okay, let's start. 1, 2, ready, clap and count. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 keep going. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Keep going. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 keep going. Last line. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and here it is. Heads up. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Did you have fun like I had fun? I thought that was neat. Were you able to keep up with me? I bet you did. Okay, so practice that lesson again a few times. Make sure that you can count it, that you understand what an eighth note is, and how it's different on the last part, where there was a quarter note and a quarter rest. And I'll see you at our next lesson, which will be number 81, where we'll go over the note names in the left hand so that you can play it yourself. And actually, I'm going to tell you how they make chords. Those are certain notes that are played together that have a name. And it's mostly going to be C major, G major, and G7. All right, this is going to be fun. Want a sneak preview? I even color-coded it for you. All right, happy practicing. Here's your kiss.